Beloved one, you are not alone in this storm. In the silence you call cold, my voice is whispering, calling you back to the beginning, to where love was your very breath, to where promises were spoken in purity, to where your family was once a dwelling place of light. I see the heaviness within your spirit, the weariness weighing upon your shoulders as you try to hold together what feels like it's falling apart. You look around and see familiar faces, yet your heart feels lost. You hear laughter, but inside you only hear sighs. The thread connecting hearts once close now feels as fragile as silk, and though you try not to look directly, you know something has fractured. I see you sitting in that quiet room where the light casts a soft haze across the walls. You remember meals filled with laughter, prayers said hand in hand, simple moments saturated with my presence. Now everything feels different, not loud or violent, but slow and lingering, like a wound that refuses to close. You ask, when did we lose our way? And I tell you, it did not happen overnight. It began in the smallest moments, when your heart was pulled from sacred priorities, when time together was replaced with work, when presence was traded for busyness. You let the world steal what was holy. You didn't mean to, but you allowed the temporary to slip between what was eternal. You thought that love, if strong enough, would sustain itself. But I say to you, love does not sustain itself. It must be tended with presence, with prayer, with grace. It is a flame, and a flame left untended will fade. You are standing at a threshold. On one side lies the memory of love, on the other, the abyss of distance. I stand between them, arms open, calling, come home. Not to the past, but to the source. To me, the one who placed your family in your care, not as a burden, but as a sacred honor. You were not chosen to give up. You were chosen to rise. I know there are words you have spoken in anger that you now regret. I know there were times you stayed silent when you should have prayed. I know there are wounds you didn't cause but now carry. I know you feel it is unfair and think you have done all you could. But what I desire is not your exhausted striving, it is your surrender. Not control but trust, not piecing things back together by your own strength, but allowing me to restore from within. I see the fear in your eyes that everything will fall apart. But remember, I am the one who brings the dead to life. Abraham believed even when his body was old and Sarah's womb barren, yet from the dust I called forth a nation. If I can summon life from what is dead, can I not restore your family? Do not see what is broken as an ending. See it as the beginning of a miracle. For where humanity reaches its limit, that is where I begin. When you feel you cannot forgive, remember I have forgiven you. When you feel you cannot love, remember I am love itself. When you want to give up, remember my grace is enough for you. Do not fear your weakness, for in that weakness my power is made perfect. My child, I am rebuilding what has fallen apart, and I am starting with your heart. There are things in your family that words cannot touch because the wound lies not in actions but in feelings. There is pain that remains unspoken but still burns like hidden embers beneath the ashes. You think silence will heal it, that if you wait long enough, it will disappear. But silence does not heal. Beloved, it only hides what needs my light. I do not condemn you for being hurt. I simply long to place my hand upon that wound and bring it back to life. Forgiveness is not natural, I know. Forgiveness is a flame not to destroy, but to refine. You have asked me to heal your family, but healing cannot come without forgiveness. Forgiveness is not denying what happened. It is surrendering your right to hold on to the pain. It is choosing to let me judge, instead of letting bitterness consume your soul. You cannot claim to seek peace while clutching resentment. You cannot pray for unity while nurturing division. I say to you, only when you let go can you truly receive. When Joseph was sold by his own brothers, he did not know that pain was the beginning of my plan. Years later, when he stood before those who betrayed him, he said, You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 5:0-20. So it is with you, beloved. There are things in your family you do not yet understand, but I am turning them for good. You think you have been betrayed, but you are being refined. You think you have lost, but I am clearing the way for new birth. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the strength of one who chooses to trust me more than their pain. I know you fear that if you forgive, others may not change. But forgiveness is not about them, it is about your freedom. Forgiveness is how you unlock the prison door only to realize you were the one inside. When you forgive, you partner with me in destroying the enemy's work, for he thrives on bitterness, resentment, and division. A family does not need perfection to be blessed. It needs hearts that repent, that bow low, that choose love over pride. Do not think I ask you to forgive as a test. No, beloved, I ask because I know forgiveness is the key to the freedom you long for. When you forgive, I can step in. When you hold on, you keep me out. You desire unity. But unity is not built through control, it is built through mercy, not through silence, but through truth wrapped in grace. You have knelt many nights praying for me to heal broken relationships, and I have heard you, but I cannot heal what you still defend with your own sword. Lay it down. Let me take it. Let me fight for you, for I am both the God of justice and the God of mercy. You are not called to prove you are right, but to reveal that I am love. When you choose forgiveness, you rebuild the foundation of unity. Every true reconciliation begins at the cross, where I forgave those who crucified me. There is no other way that leads to life. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that heals. Let me ignite that flame in your heart. Do not wait to feel it, simply be willing. Say, Lord, I cannot forgive on my own, but love through me. And when you say this, I will do the rest. You will be amazed at the small things I can use to begin healing: a simple greeting, a short message, a lingering hug, a listening gaze. I work through the little things. When you plant seeds of love, I will water them and make them grow. You may not see the fruit right away, but I never leave my work unfinished. Do not be afraid to be the one who begins. Do not wait for others to change before you love. I did not teach you to love when it is easy. I taught you to love when it feels impossible. That is true love. It is not built on reaction, but on the steadfastness of my heart within you. You are not alone on this journey. I have poured out my Spirit upon you, so you can do what you could never do on your own. He will give you words when you have none, strength when your steps tremble, and faith when your heart doubts. When you choose forgiveness, I promise to exchange your ashes for beauty. I will turn your tears into rivers that nourish a new season. I will transform blame into thanksgiving. For forgiveness not only heals the past, it opens the future. It makes room for miracles. It restores what you thought was lost. Let my love within you blaze again. That flame does not merely rekindle affection, it burns away impurities, pride, hurt, bitterness. When my fire rises, it does not destroy, it purifies. It softens hearts, melts the ice within your eyes, and warms the home that had grown cold. And when that flame burns, darkness will have no refuge. I want you to listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit. For what I am about to speak can only be understood in the stillness of the soul. My grace is here, not distant, not abstract, but nearer than your breath. You have seen the wounds, but now I want you to see hope. You have heard words that wounded, but now hear my whisper deep within. I am still at work. My grace does not come like a gust of wind. It flows like water seeping into the driest cracks of the soul. It does not rush. It waits, saturates, and endures. It is the quiet force that keeps love alive, even when everything else seems lifeless. Know this: where grace is present, life returns. Where surrender is found, miracles are born. You do not need to be strong to see me move. You only need to be honest. Bring me your weakness, your fears, your hidden tears. Give me your bruised heart, for from it I will write a new story. Grace does not seek perfection, it seeks truth. And wherever there is a sincere heart, my kingdom is revealed. I know how much you have tried, how you prayed in the dark, endured misunderstanding, chose silence instead of reaction. But my child, I care not only about what you do, but the heart within your doing. There are times you did right, but joy was gone, times you served, but your spirit ran dry. Let me touch that place. What I desire is not just outward harmony, but inner transformation. True restoration does not come when behavior improves, but when hearts are renewed by me. Do you remember when I called Ezekiel to the valley of dry bones, Ezekiel 37? I told him to prophesy, and as he spoke, bones came together, flesh grew, breath entered, and they lived again. So too will I do with your family. What was barren, I will bring to life. What was hardened, I will soften. What was silent, I will fill again with laughter. But this will not come by your striving, it will come by the breath of my spirit. My grace does not merely patch what was broken, it creates what is new. I do not restore pieces to their old form. I remake them into something stronger, brighter, more radiant with my glory. Believe this, your family can become even better than before, not because you are flawless, but because I am faithful. I never begin what I do not intend to finish. And if I have planted this family in your heart, I have already prepared the grace to sustain it to the end. Beloved, let your faith rise again, not blind faith, but faith rooted in who I am, the one who never breaks a promise. When Abraham looked at himself, he saw weakness. When he looked at me, he saw the promise. Do the same. Lift your eyes from the fragments. Do not count what was lost. Count what I am about to restore. Let my light shine through the cracks, for it is through those very cracks that my glory will be seen. You are standing in what I call the dawn of resurrection. It comes quietly like morning light seeping through the night. Everything may appear still, yet life is stirring. Your prayers have not been forgotten. They are being woven into my grand design. You cannot yet see what I am doing, because I work in the unseen, in thoughts, in dreams, in the hearts of those you love. I am changing the atmosphere. I am breathing new life. Do not be alarmed if the darkness feels heaviest before dawn. It means the light is near. Do not fear the final conflicts, the misunderstandings that flare up, for I am using even this fire to burn away what is old and prepare what is new. Do not flee from the process, remain in me. Remember, the enemy does not fear your songs. He fears your worship in pain. For every time you worship in the storm, you declare that I am still Lord of the story. I say to you, become the keeper of the altar in your home. Rekindle the flame of prayer, even if only a spark remains. Pray not to change others, but to open your heart wider for me. When you do, I will do the rest. I will touch hearts you cannot reach. I will heal relationships you cannot fix. Just remain in love. Let my word be your heartbeat, and let my peace wrap your mind like a soft cloak in the storm. What I want you to know is not how to hold your family, but who is holding it. It is I, the one who never slumbers, who never leaves. I have sealed each one with my mark, and what I have sealed no one can steal. Trust that. Let grace become the foundation, where love is no longer driven by emotion but by choice, where words are measured by kindness, and every act flows from mercy. And then when you look back, you will see from the breaking I made beauty, from tears I made rivers, from silence I brought forth songs of resurrection. You will see that I never left. I was working in the quiet all along. When I speak of restorative love, I am not calling you back to the old, but inviting you into the birth of something new, purer, deeper, stronger. Like the sun emerging after rain, the first rays do not shine on a spotless sky, but through clouds still heavy with mist. Likewise, my light does not reach you through perfection, but through the cracks. It is through those openings that I shine into the depths of your soul. You think that when you are weak you are failing, but I tell you that is when you are closest to me. When you have nothing left to lean on, then you discover that I am the rock that cannot be moved. When you lose control, you finally see my hand holding all things together. Restoring love is not born in peace, but in brokenness. Just as a seed must break open before it can sprout, true love is revealed only when the self is crushed. I see your effort to reconcile, yet I also see your fear of being hurt again. I see your longing to love, but also your fear that love will not be returned. I see your desire to trust, but the old memories whisper to you to guard your heart. My child, I understand. Even when I stretched out my hand to humanity, they nailed me to the cross. But in that moment, my love was revealed most clearly. True love is not proven in ease, but in those moments when you choose to stay, even at the risk of pain. You have prayed, Lord, renew my heart, and I have answered not by a sudden miracle, but by leading you through the process itself. I renew not by erasing pain, but by touching each layer of your soul. I am teaching you to love not for the sake of being loved, but because that is my nature within you. Restorative love is not the fruit of emotion, it is the fruit of faith. Faith that love is never wasted, that when you love in my name, you are laying a foundation for eternity. You may think love is a fragile feeling, but I tell you it is the greatest power in the universe. It was love that moved me to leave my throne of glory and enter this world. It was love that kept me on the cross, and it is love that keeps me from ever leaving you. When I say love, it is not a burdened command, but an invitation into the flow of heaven itself. For wherever love abides, there I am. True love does not depend on another's response. It draws strength from its source. And when that source is me, love never runs dry. You may be wounded but not destroyed. You may grow tired but not hopeless. For I am the spring that never ceases to flow. And when you allow me to love through you, you become a vessel of heavenly restoration. You are now in what I call the season of healing through light. Everything hidden is being brought into the open, not for shame, but for healing. I do not expose to condemn, I expose to set free. Some conversations within your family may touch tender places, but do not be afraid. I am there in every word, in every breath. When you speak gently, I am speaking through you. When you choose silence over anger, I am fighting for you. When you choose prayer over judgment, I am preparing the way for miracles. I am doing something new, something you have never seen. But before it appears, I must turn your eyes back to me, not as a distant God, but as a Father present in your home. I am entering the quiet meals. I am sitting among those who no longer speak. I am touching hearts that seemed locked forever. You may not see me, but I am there. And where I am, the frost melts. Where I am, the dead come alive. Where I am, love is restored. Do not wait for proof before you believe. Believe, and then you will see. Faith is not denying reality. It is choosing to trust in a greater one, the reality where I reign. Let your eyes look beyond what they see. Believe that in the silence I am still rewriting your story. As you stand on the threshold between the old and the new, remember, I did not call you merely to fix your family. I called you to make it a testimony of my glory. I desire not just reconciliation, but a legacy one where future generations inherit the spirit of unity, forgiveness, and everlasting love. The love you plant today will flow through your lineage like a river of grace, nourishing lives you may never meet. For every act of love carries an echo into eternity. Do not despise small beginnings. Restoring love does not arrive like thunder, it whispers. It does not burst forth in brilliance all at once, but unfolds like the dawn spreading across the sky. Begin with small things, a thank you, a compassionate look, a moment of listening. When you do it in me, you are opening the gates of heaven, for love never fails. It may be tested, twisted, misunderstood, but it cannot be extinguished. Many waters cannot quench love, rivers cannot wash it away. Song of Songs 8:7. And I who am love am breathing life into that flame within you again, not only for your family, but for every soul within your reach. My beloved child, there are miracles that come not in thunder, but in gentle breath. There are changes the ears cannot hear, but the soul can feel. This is how I work quietly, precisely, powerfully. You may not hear it, but in the unseen realm, stones are shifting, old walls are cracking, invisible chains are falling. I am not in a hurry, for I never work halfway. Everything I do is complete, even when the process requires your waiting. True transformation is not born of a single moment of emotion, but of a steady journey where each small choice becomes a brick in the foundation of greatness. I know you grow weary longing to see results, but my child, a tree cannot bear fruit the same day it is planted. It must take time to root deep into the soil. So it is with love and unity. They must take root in trust, in humility, in surrender to my timing. Do you remember Elijah on Mount Horeb, waiting to hear my voice? 1 Kings 19. He thought I was in the wind, the earthquake, the fire, but I was not in them. Then came a gentle whisper, and there I was. So it is with you. I am speaking not in the dramatic, but in the quiet hours, when you sit alone, when your only prayer is a sigh. Lord, I don't know what to do anymore. In that sigh, I am whispering back, you don't need to know, just trust me. Every delay with me carries purpose. If I granted everything you asked for instantly, you would never learn to trust. If I restored too quickly, the wounds would not have time to heal, and what is good would not stand strong. I am teaching you to live by trust, not control. I am teaching you that love is not a reaction but choice. The choice to believe, to stay, to be patient, even when nothing seems to change. You say, Lord, why won't they change? And I say, will you let me change you first? For when I change you, the atmosphere around you will shift. You cannot control others, but you can yield to my spirit within you. And when you change, I will use your gentleness to reach them. Your quiet humility will speak louder than accusation. A tender glance can melt a hardened heart. A soft word can unlock a door long closed. This is how I bring resurrection, not always through noise or spectacle, but through surrendered hearts. So remain open, remain gentle, remain steadfast. For in due time you will see what I see, that even in your weakness my strength has been building a miracle. My child, let me work within you. Do not fear the process, for I am using even the very things you dislike to refine you. Just as fire purifies gold, I am using adversity to separate you from what is impure, self-importance, entitlement, and the craving to be seen. I am teaching you to love not because you are loved in return, but because I loved first. That is what true love is. It does not depend on conditions. It is a decision that reflects my nature within you. Every tear you shed in prayer becomes rain I use to water new seeds. Not one drop is wasted. They soak into the soil of your soul, and the harvest is near. I have spoken in Psalm 126:5, those who sow in tears will reap in joy. You have sown in silence, in patience, in surrender. Now believe that your harvest will come. When you begin to see small changes, a warmer conversation, a listening glance, a smile after long silence, do not overlook them. They are signs of life, the first breath of resurrection. Like the mustard seed I spoke of, though it is the smallest of all, when it is planted, it becomes a tree where birds of the air come to rest. Matthew 1:33-1-32. The small acts of love you do today will become shelter for souls tomorrow. Remember, transformation is not only for you, but for generations after you. When you choose love, you break ancient curses. When you choose forgiveness, you sever chains of resentment that have stretched across time. When you choose prayer, you build heavenly walls around your family. You are not only rebuilding the present, you are rewriting the story for the future. I see the quiet efforts no one notices. I see you standing amid conflict, choosing to pray instead of react. I see you smile when your heart is breaking. I see you hold faith when no one else does. I see and I record every act in the book of life. No deed done in love is ever wasted. No prayer whispered through tears is ever forgotten. Keep walking, even when the path is unclear. I will be a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Psalm 119:105. I will lead you through the darkness into light. My voice is not thunder, but a gentle whisper guiding you, when lost, comforting you, when weary, reminding you that you are never alone. When the world grows chaotic, retreat into the quiet of my presence. That is where I speak, where transformation begins, where your heart is renewed day by day. Beloved, there are things your eyes call endings, but in mine they are beginnings of new miracles. You see silence in your home. I see soil resting before the harvest. You see distance among hearts. I see space where grace can enter. Do not fear what seems dead, for I am the God of resurrection. Where you see decay, I plant new life. Where you see darkness, I cause light to rise. When Lazarus lay 4 days in the tomb, everyone believed it was over. Even those who loved him said, Lord, by now there is a stench. But I said, did I not tell you that if you believe you will see the glory of God? John 1:140. So too, my child, I say to you, roll the stone away. Do not cover what has died with silence or fear. Let me call it back to life. It may be love grown, cold faith, run dry, or hope long buried, but I will call it forth as I called Lazarus. And when I speak, no tomb is deep enough to hold what I choose to raise. You do not need to understand how I work, only believe that I am working. Your faith does not create miracles, I do, but faith opens the door for me to move. When you believe, you place your soul in the current of heaven where life flows and all that was dead begins to breathe again. You think restoration requires everyone's agreement, but I only need one who believes. One who stands in prayer, one who keeps hoping, one who holds fast in love. I will use your faith as a spark, and that flame will spread to light every heart. Do not lose heart when results seem delayed. I am working beneath the surface where your eyes cannot see. A seed cannot grow unless it first dies. When it falls into the ground and is buried, that is not its end. It is the beginning of life. So too, your tears are not failures. They are the water for coming miracles. I waste nothing, not even pain. Every wound born in love becomes a testimony to my power to restore. You say you are tired, that you have no strength left to love, to pray, to believe. But my child, I never asked you to do it in your own strength. My Spirit Himself intercedes for you with groanings too deep for words. Romans 8:2-6. When all you can breathe is, Lord, help me, that is one of the strongest prayers of all, because it does not come from your mind, but from the deepest part of your soul where I dwell. Let me pour new life into you. Let me breathe upon the places you thought were dry. I will give you a tender heart in place of stone. I will restore your ability to feel not pain, but love. I will renew your eyes so you see others not through wounds, but through mercy. I will open your ears to hear hope, even amid the cries of despair. For I am making all things new. When you begin to feel life stirring again, remember, it is not only for you. I give you life so that you may carry life. I heal you so that you may become a vessel of healing. I love you so that you may become a channel of love for others. When you live in grace, your whole household will be covered by grace. When you speak with kindness, the atmosphere in your home will shift. When you choose forgiveness, the chains of bitterness will fall not only from you, but from generations after you. Every family I create carries a divine mission, and yours is to reveal me through unity. The enemy knows this. That is why he attacks the place of oneness. He does not tremble at your sermons or your songs, but he trembles before a family that loves one another in me. For where there is unity, there I command blessing and life forevermore. Psalm 1333. Understand this, my child, and do not let him steal this holy treasure from you. Life is rising in your home, even if you cannot yet see it. I am breathing my spirit through quiet prayers, through tears, through weary mornings, when you still choose to believe. Be still, my child, for in that stillness I am rebuilding the foundation. What I am building will not crumble again. What I am joining will not break again. What I am restoring will endure for generations. You will see the day when the silent home will ring with laughter again, where tears will be replaced by joy, and where misunderstanding will be filled with forgiveness. You will look and say, "Truly, the Lord has done this." And I, the faithful one, will smile, for I have turned what you called ashes into radiant bloom. There is nothing so dead that I cannot raise it to life, no relationship so distant that I cannot draw it close, no heart so hardened that I cannot soften it, no house so broken that I cannot rebuild it. For I am the God of resurrection. I am the breath within what has withered. I am the light that shines at the edge of the dark, and I have chosen you to bear that light. Believe this, you are living in a season of restoration. Life is rising gently, quietly, but surely. And when the dawn fully breaks, you will see that everything I have spoken is true. My child, I know you are searching for peace. You have asked me for rest, for calm, for relief after long, weary days. But beloved, true peace is not found where there are no storms. It is found where I am in the storm. There are times I do not silence the wind immediately, because I want you to learn how to still the storm within. I want you to know that peace does not come from a calm environment, but from unshakable trust that I am at the helm. Do you remember when my disciples were in the boat upon the sea? The waves rose high, the wind howled, and I was asleep at the stern. They cried out, "Master, we are perishing." And I said, "Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?" Mark 4:3-5-40. My child, I did not rebuke them for being afraid. I wanted them to understand that when I am in the boat, it cannot sink. And so it is with you, no matter how fierce the storm. If I am with you, you are safe. My peace is not like the world's peace. The world says, "When everything is right, I will be at peace." But I say, when you are in me, you have peace within the chaos. John 1:4-7. You see, true peace is not the reward of calm circumstances. It is the fruit of trust. When you learn to trust me in every situation, you will no longer be shaken by the waves. You will learn to smile in the storm, knowing that even the winds obey my command. There are seasons when I allow storms to rise, not to destroy you, but to reveal what lies beneath the fears, the doubts, the things you still cling to. The storm does not come to break you, but to refine you. When the wind blows fiercely, trees drive their roots deeper. And I want your roots to go deeper in me, not in people, not in plans, not in outcomes, but in me, the unchanging one. You say you desire peace, but peace is born from surrender. When you stop striving to control, peace comes. When you release what you cannot hold, peace takes its place. When you choose faith over fear, peace seeps into your soul like gentle water. Do not think of peace as a feeling. It is the posture of a soul standing in the right place in my hands. You once believed peace meant avoiding conflict, but I tell you, true peace is not escape, it is presence. It is the courage to stand in the waves with a still heart. It is knowing I am there even when everything else is falling apart. It is choosing silence when the world shouts, choosing forgiveness when your heart wants revenge, choosing love when your instincts want to close off. Peace is not the quietness of circumstances, it is the steadiness of the soul. Let me teach you the art of peace. It begins when you learn to stop. Do not let your mind chase every noise the world throws at you. Do not let your heart be pulled by the worries of tomorrow. Come sit with me. Breathe in me. Let me wash your mind of noise, fear, and needless questions. Peace comes when you know that I know, when you realize that I was there before the problem began, when you trust that I am never surprised. When your spirit is at peace, the world around you begins to change. You will speak more gently, see with compassion, listen with patience. The atmosphere you carry will become a refuge for others. I do not only want to give you peace, I want to make you a bearer of peace. When you enter a room, the air will shift. When you speak, storms in others will calm. Not because you are perfect, but because I live within you. My peace is something the world can neither give nor take away. It does not vanish when everything seems to go wrong, for it does not depend on direction but on my presence. When you hold on to this truth, you will no longer be tossed by change. You will stand firm like a tree planted by streams of water, ever green, ever bearing fruit in every season. Abide in me, and peace will abide in you. When you open your heart to me, I will teach you to hear the wind without fear and to see the waves without trembling. You will know that every storm must bow before my name. When you belong to me, no storm can reach your soul, beloved one. There are days when you pray and the heavens seem silent. You speak, but only your own voice echoes back. You wait, but no sign appears. You search, yet find only stillness, and your soul begins to whisper, "Lord, are you still there, my child? I am. I have never left, nor have I ever been silent out of neglect. My silence is not absence. It is one of the deepest lessons your soul can receive. When I am silent, I am deepening your faith. If I answered the moment you asked, your trust would depend on my response, not on our relationship. But I want you to trust me not merely for what I do, but because you know who I am. When every outward sign disappears, when feelings fade, when prayers seem to vanish into the air, that is when true faith is born. Faith that believes without seeing, remains steadfast, without feeling, and surrenders without understanding. Do you remember when I hung upon the cross and cried, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Matthew 2:7-4-6. Even I, clothed in human frailty, walked through that silence. Yet within that pain, the Father's will was fulfilled. Silence was not abandonment. It was the space where redemption unfolded. So it is with you, my child. My silence is not to frighten you, but to forge you to refine your faith like gold through fire. Some prayers you think unanswered were already being fulfilled from the moment you spoke them, but the answers may come in ways you did not expect. Sometimes I change circumstances. Sometimes I change you. Sometimes I open a door. Sometimes I make you into the door. I am never late, my child. I am always on time. Every delay is preparation for something better, something lasting. If I gave what you asked before you were ready, the blessing itself could wound you. So I wait, not out of hesitation, but out of love. Learn to hear my voice, even in silence. I speak through simple things: the dawn after a long night, the breath still steady in your chest, a gentle hand on your shoulder when you feel alone. My voice may not thunder, but it is always near. Stop searching for me in the noise. Find me in the rhythm of your own heartbeat. When you grow still, you will realize I have been near all along. You say, "Lord, why don't you speak?" But I am speaking. You are just listening through the frequency of worry. Be still that your soul may hear. I do not need to shout for those who love me. Truly hear my whisper in the wind. Silence is not a wall, it is an invitation. Come closer. Some miracles are born only in silence. When Moses stood before the Red Sea and the people cried out in fear, I said, "Be still, and you will see the salvation of the Lord." Exodus 1:4-13. And it was in that stillness that the sea parted. When Judas betrayed quietly, when the soldiers led me away without a word, I still walked silently to the cross. For in silence I finish the work of the Father. I know silence can wound. It can make you question whether your prayers are heard. But I promise no prayer spoken in faith fails to reach heaven. You may not yet see the result, but each word you've prayed is moving things in the unseen realm. Heaven never stands still at the cry of a trusting soul. Remember this, my silence does not mean inaction. Often I work behind the veil in other hearts, in your thoughts, in situations beyond your reach. I am aligning, adjusting, and connecting the pieces you cannot yet see. When all seems still, I am weaving the larger picture. And when the time comes, you will see that every thread is perfect. Do not let your heart be shaken because you do not hear me in the way you expect. Believe that I am speaking in a better way through what I am doing inside you. When you feel empty, I am making room for the new. When you feel pruned, I am preparing you for fruitfulness. When you cannot feel me, I am teaching you to love me, not by sensation, but by communion. I know you cherish the moments when you sense my presence, the tears in worship, the times when my word burns bright. But my beloved, I also want you to love me in the stillness. Mature love does not demand constant feeling. It trusts even in the dark. It stands firm without encouragement. It remains faithful, even when the heart has not yet been answered. When you learn this, you will enter a deeper peace. You will no longer fear silence. You will realize that it is in the quiet that I engrave your name upon my hand. It is in the stillness that I lift you from the pit of anxiety. It is in the silence that I write new lines into your story. And one day you will look back and say, all along God was working. In the silence He was changing my heart. You will understand that silence was never emptiness. It was the womb where faith grew. It was the resting place of miracles. It was the moment heaven touched earth without a sound. Rest in me. Let my silence become the gentle melody that lulls your soul into perfect trust. When you hear nothing, remember I am still speaking in the language of love, the language that needs no words yet transforms everything. My child, when your soul is reborn, peace will no longer be something you chase. It will be something you carry. It will not come and go with circumstances, but dwell in you like breath, like heartbeat. The peace of the Spirit is not a temporary gift. It is the mark of a soul that has been healed, touched, and made new. You have walked through fire, through water, through silence, and now you stand in light. Know this, no journey has been wasted, for through it all I have made you more like me. Once you asked me to give you peace. Now you understand I am your peace. You once thought peace was comfort, but now you see it is being anchored in me, knowing that all is still in my hands, confident that I never err. When your soul is reborn, you no longer chase peace. Peace follows you. It goes with you to your work, into your conversations, into your every breath and decision. Others will look at you and wonder how you can smile amid adversity. But you will know it is because I live in you. My peace does not remove tears, but gives them meaning. It does not erase pain, but makes it sacred. It does not promise the storm will stop, but ensures the storm cannot destroy you. True peace is not forgetfulness. It is the awareness that an unseen hand is guiding all things. You once asked, why must I go through pain to understand this? And I say, because only in darkness do you see how radiant the light truly is. You have learned to be still within when everything around you trembles. You have chosen prayer over reaction, faith over fear, love over resentment, and that my child is the mark of rebirth. It does not mean your soul has lost feeling. It means your emotions have come under the gentle leading of my Spirit. You no longer live by the waves, but by the current of grace. Know this: one who truly possesses peace has nothing to prove. You do not need to speak much to explain yourself or to seek validation, for you know who walks beside you. Peace gives you the right to be silent in the midst of noise, to be gentle in a rushing world, to smile when others are afraid. peace makes you a lamp in the night, never competing with darkness, never striving to shine, but quietly giving light. Do you remember what I said to my disciples after I rose from the dead? Peace be with you, John 20:19. I did not speak it as a greeting, but as a command. My peace is power, the power that raises the soul from the ashes. It is the seal of resurrection. When I say peace to you, I am not giving comfort alone. I am giving authority. Authority to walk through fear, through trial, through shadow, untouched by them. For my peace is not bound by circumstance. It reigns above circumstance. The one who is reborn knows that nothing is beyond my control. When you accept this truth, your soul will rest. You will cease trying to understand everything, to define every moment. Instead of asking why, you will begin to ask, what are you teaching me? And that question opens the heavens. For in every event I hide a lesson of love. I want you to live from that peace daily. Do not seek me only in prayer. Find me in your rhythm of living. See me in the faces of strangers, in the morning birdsong, in every breath you take. Each moment whispers that you are not alone. When you become aware of my presence, you will no longer lose peace, for you will have found it in your very being where I dwell. My beloved, I have placed within you a peace no one can steal. Others may take possessions, reputation, even their disbelief may wound you, but none can touch what I have sealed in you. That peace is a covenant between you and me, written in blood, kept by the Spirit, and secured for eternity. As you walk in this peace, you become a bearer of life. Wherever you go becomes a place of renewal. Whatever you speak becomes a source of hope. Those trembling in fear will find comfort in your presence, not because you have all the answers, but because you carry the climate of heaven. You will not need to declare, I belong to God. Your life itself will say it. Your peace will be the loudest testimony that I am real. Peace is not the prize after a battle. It is the strength that carries you through it unbroken. It is an invisible armor over your soul. When the enemy hurls arrows of fear, peace extinguishes them. When he sows confusion, peace drives it out. When he whispers doubt, peace reminds you that I still reign. You have learned the greatest lesson: there is no true peace apart from me, and no me without peace. Now you are not merely saved, you are reborn, not by the change of circumstance, but by the transformation of heart. And from that renewed heart you will walk as one who brings life, sows faith, and speaks words soft yet full of power. I rejoice, my child, that you have let me work within your soul, stripping away fear, washing anxiety, giving you a new heart. Now I send you to become a sower of peace. Do not keep it for yourself. Bring it into chaos. Speak gently where there is strife. Smile where hope has faded. Live so that others sense my nearness when they are near you. For this is the true evidence of rebirth. When others see you, they recognize me. When they hear your voice, they hear the echo of heaven. When they touch you, they feel the warmth of grace. When they watch you walk through storms, they know there is a mighty presence within you. And when they ask your secret, you will simply smile and say, "It is not my strength. It is the peace of the one who lives in me." My beloved child, after long days I have led you through shadows, through tears, through refining fire. Now I call you into the dawn of divine love. When your soul grows quiet, when the noise of the world fades, then your heart can hear me most clearly. My voice is not loud or forceful, but soft, as breath, deep as a wellspring, and real enough to stir the deepest parts of your being. The love I speak of is not shallow or fragile like morning dew. It is not bound by emotion or by another's response. Divine love is the root of all that lives. It is the breath that called creation into being, the light that shattered the darkness, the eternal echoes. Let there be that still echoes in the rhythm of your heart. My child, I placed that love in you before you ever existed, and now I want it to awaken, not as a spark that burns briefly, but as a lamp that never goes out. You have loved before, but mostly as the world loves to love, when it is easy to love, when it is returned to love, when it feels safe. But my love is different. It transcends conditions and endures through pain. It is the love that chose the cross over a crown. The love that gives even when misunderstood. The love that seeks no fairness but chooses forgiveness. My child, I call you to step into that love, not to make you a saint distant from life, but to bring you back to your truest nature, for you were made in the image of love itself. I know you fear loving again. After the wounds, your heart has built walls, whispering, I will never let anyone hurt me again. But beloved, when you lock your heart, you also lock the flow of my love through you. You cannot receive if you do not give. Love cannot breathe in fear. It lives only in freedom. The freedom to give, to forgive, to trust once more. Let me break those walls. Let me hold your hand and teach you to love again, not as you once loved, but as I love you. When I love you, I do not choose only what is beautiful. I love the hidden corners you hide, the moments you failed, the words you spoke in anger, the times you doubted me. My love does not rest on your worthiness. It flows from my nature. I am love. And if I dwell within you, then your love can bear the same nature. You need not strive to love like me, just allow me to love through you. Beloved child, when your heart awakens to divine love, the world around you will begin to change. You will see others through eyes of compassion, no longer as enemies, but as souls also finding their way home. You will stop comparing, for true love does not measure more or less. It simply longs to serve, to lift, and to heal. You will no longer be wounded by harsh words, for divine love is not built upon pride, but upon the unshakable knowing that your worth comes from me. Divine love is not weak, my child. It is stronger than any force in creation. It gives you the courage to kneel and wash another's feet. It gives you the strength to stand for the voiceless. It gives you the grace to forgive when the world says, you can't. Divine love is not about avoiding pain, but about transforming pain into glory. When you love as I love, betrayal no longer has power over you, because you know that I myself am your reward, not anyone's response. Let this holy love flow through you like a river that never ceases. Do not try to control its direction. Let it reach every dry place, even the frozen corners of your heart. Let it wash away all residue of bitterness, pride, and unhealed wounds. Let it purify your language so that every word carries life. Let it soak into your actions so that even the smallest deed releases the fragrance of kindness. You will know that divine love has truly awakened in you when mercy replaces judgment, when prayer replaces criticism, when understanding becomes more precious than being right. Then your heart will no longer beat only for yourself, but for the world around you. And in that moment I rejoice, for you have returned to the image I created you, in the image of love itself. I speak to you today. Let this divine love awaken, grow, and lead you. For only love can truly change the world, not by power, but by gentleness, not by shouting, but by whispering, not by force, but by presence. And when this love lives within you, you will become my reflection, light in darkness, warmth in coldness, hope in despair. Divine love cannot mature without forgiveness. Forgiveness is the cleansing fire of heaven, the living water that sets the soul free. It is not weakness, it is the deepest strength of those who belong to me. The enemy knows this, which is why he plants bitterness to block love's flow. But today, I have come to break that chain. I know the wounds that others have left upon your heart, the words sharper than swords, the actions that made you collapse, the silences heavy with betrayal. You have tried to forget, but the memory lingers like ink upon paper. You have said, I forgive, yet your heart still tightens when you remember. You thought you let go, but you only buried it. And I say to you, that is the very place I long to touch. Forgiveness is not born of emotion, but of decision. You do not need to feel ready to forgive. You need only be willing to let me forgive through you. Forgiveness does not excuse another's wrong. It frees you from its chains. When you hold bitterness, you imprison yourself in the past. When you release it, you open the door for light to enter. Remember, I never call you to do what I have not done first. When I hung upon the cross in pain and humiliation, I still said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Luke 2:3-4. Forgiveness did not make me weak. It displayed my power. It shook the gates of hell, for when a soul chooses to forgive, darkness loses its grip. Forgiveness is the declaration that you belong to heaven, not to your hurt. You may ask, but how can I forgive when the pain still lives in me? My child, forgiveness is not erasing the memory, it is redeeming it. It turns pain into wisdom, wounds into witness. When you forgive, you allow me to take what was meant for harm and turn it for good, just as Joseph said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 5:0-20. So too I will use every wound you have endured as the foundation for something greater. Let my mercy pour into you. You cannot forgive by your own strength, but when I live within you, the impossible becomes possible. I do not merely command you to forgive. I give you my own heart, the heart that was pierced and still loves. Forgiveness is not just an action, it is my presence manifesting in you. Every time you forgive, you become more like me, and in becoming like me, you are set free. There will be those you must forgive who will never apologize. There will be those you must release who will never repent. But forgiveness is not waiting for them to change, it is choosing not to let what they did define who you are. Forgiveness is saying, what they did no longer has power over me. Only God decides my story. When you speak that truth, heaven opens and pours peace into every place that once held bitterness. Do not think forgiveness happens only once. Sometimes it must be repeated, each time the memory resurfaces, each time the ache returns. But every time you choose forgiveness, darkness loses ground. Every time you whisper, "I place this in your hands," I lay another stone in the foundation of your freedom. Until one day you realize the burden has fallen away and your heart is as light as the wind. Beloved, forgiveness not only heals your soul, it opens the path for miracles to flow. When you forgive, you break generational chains of pain. The resentment you release today will no longer fall upon those after you. You are stopping a dark inheritance and birthing a river of grace. Your forgiveness does not end in the present, it echoes into the future. It makes you a doorway through which I pour blessing upon your family, your people, and your generation. Beloved child, mercy is the greatest miracle the world rarely recognizes. It makes the proud bow low, the hardened melt, and the lost find their way home. Mercy does not search for fault, it seeks worth. It sees my image even in the souls that seem furthest gone. When you look at others through mercy's eyes, you are seeing through mine, and in that moment you become an instrument of heaven itself. Do not fear that mercy will make you weak or easily used. I have not called you to be a victim, but a victor through love. Forgiveness does not reopen the door to pain. It closes the door on the past so that you may walk freely into the future. You may set boundaries, but let them be drawn in mercy, not in bitterness. Forgiveness does not erase memory, but it washes memory clean with my blood, transforming what once hurt into something holy. When you choose to forgive, heaven applauds. When you bow your head in prayer, instead of reacting, I write your name in golden lines in the book of life. When you weep out of compassion rather than anger, I count those tears as jewels. Forgiveness does not make you lose, it makes you like me. And that, my child, is true victory. You will see that after you forgive, not only is the other person released, but you are too. The invisible chains will fall away. No more sleepless nights. No more silent heaviness. that has no name. Peace will flow like a river, and your soul will breathe again after years of suffocation. Then you will understand forgiveness is not just a duty, it is a miracle. Let me teach you to love as I love to forgive, as I forgive to see others through the eyes of mercy. For in that moment, you will witness a miracle, not one descending from the distant sky, but one rising from within you, where I dwell. My beloved, when divine love has awakened, when forgiveness has shattered the chains of the past, your heart steps into a new season, the season of rebirth. This is not an outer beginning, but an inner resurrection where the dead are called to life again, where what was barren blooms in grace. Rebirth does not come through your striving, but through the breath of my Spirit. And when my Spirit breathes, all things old pass away. I have seen the wastelands within your soul places filled with fear, shame, and silence. But today I say, live again. From the ashes of disappointment, a lily rises. From the cracks of the past, fresh water flows. From wounds once deemed useless, light now seeps through. Rebirth is not forgetting what happened, but allowing my Spirit to rewrite its meaning. The very things that caused your pain will become the proof that grace is stronger than the past. You once believed your heart could never love again, but it is in the moment you feel empty that I begin to fill you. Grace works most powerfully where human strength fails. When you kneel and whisper, I have nothing left to give, I smile and say, that is exactly what I need. For when you have no strength, my grace becomes complete. Let me be the new breath within you. Each morning when you awake, remember, I am giving you a heart softer than yesterday, a heart that can feel, forgive, love, and trust again. I am giving you the heart of the Redeemer, a heart that feels pain, but does not hold resentment, that weeps, but does not despair, that waits with hope, that loves even after being wounded. This is your new heart. It no longer trembles under rejection, no longer hides in fear of failure. It knows that its value is not defined by others' response, but by my unchanging love. When this heart beats, each pulse becomes thanksgiving, and each breath sings the melody of grace. Remember, rebirth is not returning to what you were, but becoming something completely new. You are not going back to the version before the pain, you are becoming the one who overcame the pain. The scars may remain, but they will shine with glory. Just as the risen one still bore the marks of the nails, you too will bear the signs of your past, yet they will no longer speak of pain, but of triumph. Know this, my child, nothing is too broken for me to restore. No memory too deep for grace to touch. No shame too great for love to cover. My grace does not arrive to condemn, but to lift. It does not wait for you to be perfect before it draws near. It comes precisely because you are not. I do not ask you to be strong, I ask you to be real. For grace does not seek the flawless, it seeks the open. You ask, how will I know I have truly been reborn? My child, when you can look at the past without trembling, when you can bless those who hurt you, when you can smile amid uncertainty, that is the sign. When your words no longer carry bitterness, when your eyes glow with understanding, when your heart knows that all things are in my hands, that is the proof. You no longer live to prove yourself, you live to reveal me. No longer saying I strive to be loved, but I love because I am already loved. Rebirth makes you light. You no longer need to cling to fear loss to grasp what has passed. You can release without worry because you trust me. You can move forward without looking back because you know I walk behind you. You can love without defense because you know I protect your heart. True rebirth does not make you superhuman. It makes you authentic, real with me, real with others, real with yourself. The breath of grace is what I now call you to carry into the world. When you forgive, you are inhaling grace. When you love, you are exhaling grace. When you refuse to judge, the atmosphere around you shifts. The world does not need more critics, it needs souls who reflect my kindness. Let every place you step carry the fragrance of grace, the scent of gentleness, of patience, of peace. This is the hour when your heart beats again with the rhythm of heaven, no longer pounding with fear or haste, but steady in the cadence of divine love. When you live in that rhythm, you will not grow weary, even when the world is heavy. For grace is the energy that never runs out. It keeps you standing when others fall tender, when others harden and steadfast, even when no one understands. I rejoice to see your heart revived. What was once ashes has now become a testimony of glory. What was once buried is now in bloom. You are no longer who you used to be, and I want you to believe that. Look into the mirror and see that the light in your eyes is real. It is not the effort of trying to appear strong, it is my light shining from within you. It is the sign that your heart has been breathed into anew. So live as one who has been resurrected. Let every day become a song of praise. Let grace be the language you speak, the rhythm you carry, and the atmosphere you bring. Let those who come near you feel lighter, comforted, and healed, not because of your own strength, but because I am breathing through you. And as you live this way, heaven will be reflected on earth, and I will smile, for you have become what I intended from the beginning, a heart that knows how to love, forgive, and live in grace. My child, now that your heart has been healed and reborn in grace, I call you into a new journey, the journey of purpose. For no one is restored just to remain still. Whoever is saved is also sent. The love you've received is not meant to be hidden, but to become a testimony. The peace you carry is not for yourself alone, but to be sown into a chaotic world. Grace never flows to a place to stay. It flows through those who are willing to become a river. And now, my beloved, I call you to be that river. Before you were born, I engraved your purpose upon the palm of my hand. Every breath, every step, every tear has been part of my design. You may have thought your life was a string of random moments, but I tell you truly, not a single detail is meaningless. What you once saw as detours were in fact hidden routes leading you back to me. Every turn, every loss, every fall, I have woven them into the tapestry of purpose. Now that you have learned what it means to love, to forgive, and to walk in grace, I say to you, my child, it is time to rise. You were not created to hide forever in the shadows of your past. You were made to reflect the light. The world is filled with noise but lacks voices that flow from sanctified hearts. I want you to be one of those voices, not loud but true, not filled with reasoning, but with life. For only those who have been broken can speak of healing with power. Only those who have been lost can guide others with compassion. Do not wait until you feel ready. Readiness is not the condition for calling, it is the result of obedience. When you move, I will equip you. When you say yes, I will do the rest. Everything you need has already been planted within you like seeds, waiting for the light to break through. You do not need to see the whole path. You only need to take the first step. I will illuminate the next. Believe that I would not call you only to abandon you halfway. Do not compare your mission to another's. Each one I send carries a unique imprint. As every star has its own orbit, so you have your own role in this universe. Some are called to stand before crowds. Some are called to lift a single soul in silence. Some carry the message through words, others through kindness, others simply through the light in their eyes. All are precious, for each reflects me in a different way. You do not need to become anyone else, you need only to become yourself in me. I know you are afraid of failing, of not being enough, of being misunderstood, of stepping out of safety. But faith does not begin where everything is clear. It begins where all you have left to hold on to is me. When Abraham was called, he did not know where he was going, but he went and I did the rest. When Moses said he could not speak, I placed words in his mouth. When David faced the giant with a small stone, I made that stone the weapon of kingship. So do not despise smallness, for it is in smallness that my power is revealed. I do not seek perfection, I seek willingness. I do not look for the strong, I look for the surrendered. For when you let me use you, I will do things beyond your imagination. You will see me open doors no one else could open. You will see me lead you to places you never dreamed of. But remember, your mission is not to exalt yourself, but to exalt my name. The purpose is not for you to stand out, but for my love to be seen through you. I will test you with humility. There will be times when you labor faithfully, and no one notices when you speak gently, and no one thanks you when you sow and see no harvest. But my child, heaven records every small thing. Not one act done in my name is ever wasted. When you are faithful with the little, I will entrust you with much. For your true reward is not in the hands of men, it is in mine. The world will tempt you to compromise. Fame will try to allure you. Fear will attempt to hold you back. But remember, true purpose never stands against holiness. If you must trade your peace in me to keep what you call success, then it is not the glory I give. Let me remain the center, and you will never lose your way. When you act out of love, you will not grow weary. When you serve out of obedience, you will not grow bitter. Look at those who went before you, Moses, Joseph, Esther, David. They were not called when they felt ready, yet I used them because they were willing. So too I chose you, not because you are flawless, but because you let me touch you. Every scar in you will become a testimony. Every failure will become a sermon of faithfulness. Every tear will become a seed for a new season. You do not go forth empty-handed. You go carrying the history of my grace within you. Remember, your purpose is not about achieving something, but about becoming someone. Purpose is not about work, it is about reflection. When you become like me, the work will naturally follow. When you walk in love, the mission will unfold. For I do not separate being from doing. I make you the very message you carry. You do not just speak of light, you are the light. You do not just speak of hope, you are the evidence of hope. You do not just speak of love, you are where love dwells. Purpose is never apart from presence. You cannot fulfill your calling apart from me, for I am the source of its strength. Come to me daily for direction. Do not chase opportunities, follow the call. Do not seek recognition, seek the companionship of the Holy Spirit. When you walk in my presence, you will never fear being lost, for I am the way. Rise in the light. Walk not with a spirit of fear, but with the heart that knows you are sent by the Creator of heaven and earth. You do not walk alone. I am within you, and through you, I will touch countless souls. You cannot know how many will be saved by a single kind word, a gentle look, a loving act. Let me use you as an instrument of grace, whether as a quiet melody in the street or a great symphony in silence. I remain the conductor. My beloved divine purpose is not formed in comfort, it is refined in fire. Anything I intend to last must first endure testing. Gold does not become pure without being melted. Steel does not become strong without being forged. And your soul, my child, must also pass through the fire to reflect me fully. Do not fear the flame. It does not come to destroy, but to divide, to separate the true from the false, the lasting from the temporary. When I call you, I do not promise a smooth road, but I do promise my presence. The fire will come not because you did something wrong, but because you are exactly where I want you to be. Sometimes the very presence of fire is the sign that you are in the very center of my will. I allow the fire to touch you so that what is weak may be burned away and what is unshakable may be formed. Like a potter turning the wheel, I place you in the kiln so that your shape will no longer be your old form but will bear mine. I have done this with those I chose. Moses had to pass through 40 years in the wilderness before leading my people. Joseph was imprisoned before he sat on the throne. David had to hide in caves before he wore the crown. The fire of testing did not come to rob them of their purpose, but to make them strong enough to carry it. For purpose is not just a calling, it is a weight of glory, and if the soul is not forged, it will break under the very thing it once longed for. When I place you in the fire, I do not take my eyes off you. Like a master refiner, standing beside the furnace, I watch every spark, every wave of heat, every change. I know exactly the temperature that is needed. I do not let the fire burn too long, but I also do not quench it too soon. When I see my own reflection on the surface of your soul, that is when I know the process is complete. So do not ask me to put out the fire. Ask me to stay with you in the fire, for there you will see me more clearly than ever. In the fire, everything that does not belong to me will be exposed. Pride will melt, ambition will evaporate, self-will will shatter. But what is true will emerge: faith, faithfulness, humility, unconditional love. You will see that when everything you leaned on disappears, I remain, and in that moment you will understand I am enough. When you lose everything and still have me, you have everything. When the fire touches you, you may feel lonely. Those who once walked with you may walk away. The things you once leaned on may collapse. But my child, remember, in the Babylonian furnace, when 3 men were thrown in, there was a 4th walking among them. Daniel 3:2-5. In the same way, I am the 4th man in your fire. When others see you in the fire and think you are being punished, they do not know that this is the place where you encounter glory. The fire does not burn you. It only burns off the chains you did not know you were wearing. I know there are times you ask, why does the Lord let me hurt like this? But if you could see the future I am preparing, you would understand. I am enlarging the capacity of your soul to hold a greater glory. A small vessel cannot hold abundant oil, so I must reshape you even if it causes pain. Pain is not the sign of abandonment. It is the evidence that you are being remade. Do not rush out of the fire. Let it finish its work. Let me teach you the lesson of endurance. When you can bear the heat without losing your faith, I will place on you the crown of steadfastness. When you still choose to love in the middle of your hurt, you become a place where I pour out my power. When you still worship in the midst of trial, you become a living altar. And when you still stand firm in the fire, heaven will use you as a witness that my grace is sufficient for everything. In the fire, you will learn to discern between what is good and what is of me. There are things that seem good but are not anointed. There are things that seem like loss but are actually deliverance. The fire makes you see clearly what is gold and what is straw. It teaches you not to cling to outcomes, but to cling to the source. It teaches you to trust, not because you see, but because you know I never err. I want you to understand that fire is not only purification, it is also the seal of power. After passing through fire, you will carry the fragrance of heaven, the scent of someone who once fell but was lifted, someone who once wept but still praised, someone who once was burned but not destroyed. A person like that, when they enter any place, darkness must pull back because in them is a light that has been tested by fire. Let me define your success. It is not measured by how much you achieve, but by how faithful you remain in the fire. I do not measure by results. I measure by perseverance. When you choose to believe, even when you cannot see, you have already overcome. When you choose to praise in the midst of pain, you have already been crowned with glory. When you choose to love even after betrayal, you have become more like me than ever. When the fire passes, you will realize it did not take anything precious from you. It only left behind what was unnecessary. You will be lighter, purer, stronger. The fire did not destroy you, it sanctified you. And I, the one who began a good work in you, will complete it until the last day. When you step out of the furnace, the light you carry will no longer be a borrowed light, but a refined one strong enough to guide others home. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for a steadfast heart. Do not ask the fire to stop. Ask me to teach you to dance in the fire, for when you learn to praise in the fire, you have become truly free. And when your refining is complete, the world will see me through you, not in the shape of someone flawless, but of someone who has walked through the fire and still shines. My beloved child, a mission is not a destination, it is a flow. It does not end at the moment you discover what I have called you to do. It keeps flowing breath to breath, from word to deed, from every small moment in daily life. Once you have been refined, the mission is no longer an external assignment, but an inner nature. It is no longer something you do, but something you are. Just as a river does not try to flow, it simply flows because it is a river. You too will learn to live in the mission without striving, because it is the natural breath of your soul. The mission does not begin on a stage or in the sound of trumpets, but in a quiet place where I whisper to you in the dark. Many want to be used by me in glory, but few are willing to be shaped by me in hiddenness. But you have gone through fire, through tears, through breaking and mending. Now you do not need to look for opportunities to display me. Your very life is already the message. You do not have to try to speak of light. The light in you will shine on its own. You do not have to prove your faith. The way you love, listen, and forgive has already become the most powerful sermon. Understand that true mission is not separate from ordinary life. It does not happen only in the church, but in the kitchen, at work, where you laugh, where you weep, where you forgive, and where you choose to love. Mission is not only in big things, but in every small act done with great love. When you wash another's feet, when you listen to the broken, when you stay silent and still intercede, you are doing the mission. I do not measure by the volume of your voice, but by the purity of your heart. I want your mission to become a stream of life that never ceases, watering dry ground. You may not see the impact immediately, but every drop of love you sow sinks deep into the soil. Every prayer you lift is a drop of rain on the fields of souls. Others may not see, but I see. And in my appointed time, those seeds will spring up into a glorious harvest. I made you not to keep what I give, but to share it. Living water only flows through a river that has an outlet. When you let love, forgiveness, wisdom, and peace flow out of you, I will pour in even more. But when you hold tight, you will dry up. Do not fear running out. I am the source that never runs dry. All you need to do is open, let me flow through you, and I will renew you day by day. When the mission becomes a living stream, it is no longer a burden but a deep joy. You no longer serve out of duty but out of love. You no longer strive to prove anything, you simply desire to give. At that point, the mission does not drain you. It nourishes you because it flows from the fountain of life within me. As I have said, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. John 7:3-8. My child, you are one of those rivers. You are no longer one tossed by the winds of life. You are one who carries the wind's direction. Every place you set your foot becomes different. You bring hope where there is despair, light where there is darkness, peace where there is conflict. I do not need you to perform the extraordinary. I need you to live authentically in me. For in my hands the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A single word, a small embrace, a simple act of kindness can alter the destiny of a soul, and that is the mission. Never underestimate the power of presence. Your mission does not lie only in what you do, but in who you are. When my spirit dwells within you, you become a resting place of heaven. Merely by being there, darkness must retreat. Merely by your presence, the atmosphere shifts. You carry the climate of heaven within you. You do not need to strive to shine. Light does not struggle to shine. It simply is. Keep that living stream pure. Water can become murky if it flows through unclean ground. So guard your heart that the flow may not be tainted by bitterness, pride, or fear. Do not let the work I've entrusted to you become a burden. Do not let the mission turn into a performance. Return to the simplicity of your first love, when all you wanted was to dwell in me, to please me, to let me be seen through you. When you keep that, your mission will never run dry. I will give you moments when you look back and see the smallest things you did created ripples that reached far. A word of encouragement you spoke naturally may have saved a soul from despair. A moment you choose, silence over reaction may have prevented a break. A prayer whispered in secret may have opened heaven's door for someone. The mission does not always need to be loud, it only needs to be true. And truth is the language heaven understands best. You do not need to search for a legacy. I will craft one through you. I will write your story not in noisy chapters but in sacred pages. The world may not remember your name, but heaven will carve it upon a white stone. Revelation 2:1-7. For I do not measure a mission by its echo, but by every yes you whisper to me each day. When you live as my river, you will become a place where others find rest. I will use you to restore weary souls. They will come to you not because of power, but because they sense my presence in you. They may not know why, but they will feel peace, safety, and love. That is the sign that you are living your mission. You have become a river carrying my living water to a thirsty world. Flow, don't stop. Believe, don't fear. Love, don't close. For the true mission cannot be interrupted, hindered, or extinguished. It does not depend on times or circumstances. It depends on me, the one who lives in you. And I am the living stream that never runs dry. My child, it is time I speak to you of the deepest thing of all I have said, unity. Every part of your journey, from the moment you stepped out of darkness, through the fire, through the waters, through barren days and silent nights, has been leading to one point, the union between you and me. Love called you, forgiveness freed you, mission matured you, but only union brings your soul into perfect rest. For only when you and I are one, you truly live. From the beginning of creation, I have longed for this, that humankind whom I formed would walk with me in the garden, in the breeze of the day, unafraid, unashamed, uncovered. But sin built a wall, and from that moment humanity has lived divided. Yet I never gave up that desire. Through every generation I have sought not to condemn but to restore what was lost. When I sent my only Son into the world, it was not only to save, but to reunite. For salvation is not merely escape from punishment, it is the return to the original love where you and I are no longer two but one. As you draw nearer to me, you will sense this union not through intellect but through spirit. It does not come by effort or ritual but by surrender and stillness. When you stop trying to feel me and simply be with me, then my presence will fill you completely. Like breath, you do not see it, but you know you live by it, so it is with the union between you and me. It is quiet, unpretentious, yet it is the deep current of life in your soul. I am in you, and you are in me. This is not a metaphor, it is the reality of heaven. Every time you love, you live in that union. Every time you forgive, you strengthen that bond. Every time you pray, you are not speaking to a distant God, but communing with the one who dwells within your heart. I am no longer far, my child. I am here in your breath, in your gaze, in every beat of your heart. When you truly live in this union, fear disappears. For fear exists only where there is distance. The distance between the one who is loved and the one who loves. But when I am in you and you are in me, what is left to fear? You no longer fear loss, for nothing can separate you from me. You no longer fear loneliness, for you have never truly been alone. You no longer fear death, for my life is already within you, and that life can never fade. This is what the prophets, the saints, and the apostles longed for. When Paul said, "It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me." Galatians 2:2-0, he was not speaking metaphorically. He had touched the very essence of union, the place where the soul is fused with its Creator, where the line between human and divine dissolves, and only love remains. And now I am calling you to step into that same depth. Union does not erase your individuality, my child. It fulfills it. I do not want to make you into someone else. I want to make you fully yourself in the pure design I conceived before you were born. When you are in me, you are not dissolved, you are defined. Like an instrument in the hands of a musician, every sound remains unique, yet together they form a holy symphony. You are a note in the eternal music of my heart, a resonance that cannot be replaced. Let me teach you to live in this union not only during prayer, but in every moment. When you work, know that I work with you. When you eat, I share the meal. When you walk through the streets, I walk beside you. When you speak, I am within your words. When you are silent, I am the whisper in that silence. Do not look for me in distant places. Find me in the present. For I am not only the God of heaven, but Emmanuel, God with you. When your soul is truly one with me, the world will lose its power to shake you. You will live amid chaos without being swallowed by it. You will hear many voices, but follow only mine. You will see pain, yet still choose to love. You will be wronged, yet hold no bitterness. You will be praised, yet remain humble. You will walk in peace not because everything is perfect, but because you have found the source of stability. My child, this union is not merely the final reward of life, it is the inheritance I desire for you now. You do not need to wait for heaven to live in heaven, for heaven begins where your soul unites with mine. Every time you choose love, you taste glory. Every time you choose forgiveness, you step into heaven's gate. Every time you choose faith, you breathe the atmosphere of my realm. Come closer. Step deeper into my embrace. Let me hold all of you, not only the parts you are proud of, but the ones you hide in shame. I am not afraid of your wounds. I long to touch them. For only when you allow me to touch them can you truly be healed. There is nothing in you that frightens me, nothing that changes my heart. This union between us is not built on conditions, but on covenant, a covenant sealed in blood, the blood of the spotless Lamb, shed to tear down the wall of separation. So you can come boldly, not in fear, but in the confidence of a beloved child. Abide in my love, and you will abide in union. Let me be your breath, your light, your heartbeat. Then you will not only know me with your mind, but experience me through the rhythm of your soul. And in that rhythm, every word you speak, every step you take, every touch of your hand will bear my imprint. When the world looks at you, they will see me not through grand miracles, but through presence itself. My beloved, there is a secret only souls who have been silent long enough will understand. Presence is the place where everything becomes whole. Not in striving, not in searching, but in stillness, where the heart ceases to struggle and simply rests in me. For when you are in my presence, you do not need to try to become anything. You only need to be. That being is enough, because in me all that is unfinished is made complete. Humanity keeps running, believing peace waits at the destination, yet peace is found only in each step. You often pray for me to act, forgetting that my presence is the action. You call for me to intervene, not realizing that when you sit with me, breathe with me, listen to me, you have already shifted the world around you. So my child, do not chase miracles. Seek the maker of miracles. Do not search for answers. Seek presence, for in me every answer finds its form. When you learn to dwell in my presence, you will see that I am not only in moments of prayer, but in every ordinary moment, in the light streaming through the window, in the song of morning birds, in tears and in weary smiles. I do not appear only when you cry out my name. I am there even when you cannot speak at all. You do not need to invite me, for I have never left. Presence is not something you must achieve, it is something you must awaken to. It is within this presence that healing happens effortlessly. You do not need to understand how, only to be still. I am working in depths. You cannot reach gathering fragments. You cannot see mending fractures in your soul that you no longer feel. You need only open your heart and let me be who I am. Remember, my child, grace does not flow from striving, but from surrender. It is not about doing more, but about releasing more. My presence is the space where confusion becomes clarity. It does not always answer the why, but it always reveals the I am. And when you grasp the I am, every why loses its weight. When you begin to see through the light of my presence, you will realize that what you once called coincidence was orchestration, what you once called delay was perfection, and what you once thought was loss was renewal. No one can enter my presence for you. This is a sacred and personal journey. I may use others to lead you closer, but only you can open the door. I may knock, but you must invite. And when you do, you will discover that I do not merely enter, I have been there all along. You will marvel to find that I never left. It was only your eyes that had not yet opened to see. In my presence, time loses its hold. You will feel as though every moment stands still, as eternity touches the present. Here the past no longer burdens you, and the future no longer frightens you. There is only the now, and within that now there is only me. I am the I am Exodus 3:14, and whenever you are fully present, you are living in the eternal part of yourself. Some seek my presence through ritual, others through music, and still others through silence. But I want you to learn that my presence is not bound by form. It does not require a place. It requires an open heart. When you sit among a crowd and remember me, that is presence. When you labor diligently but remain mindful of me, that is presence. When you smile at someone with kindness, I am in that smile. Do not think that my presence exists only to comfort you. It is also where I transform you. In the light of my presence, the parts of you that have been hidden will come to the surface. I do not do this to shame you, but to free you. You cannot heal what you will not face. So when I bring to light your pain, your buried memories, your old patterns, do not be afraid. I am exposing them so that you will no longer be bound by them. Let my light do its work to reveal, to cleanse, to renew. As you remain in my presence, you will slowly understand this. You do not need to feel something great to know I am there. Sometimes I come as a gentle breeze, a whisper, a quiet peace without name. You will learn to recognize me in the simple things. Just as Elijah did not meet me in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in a still small voice. 1 Kings 1:9-12. So will you learn to discern me in the stillness of your own heart. In my presence, everything that once frightened you will lose its power. The accusing voices will fall silent. The memories that shamed you will be washed clean. Your heart will become transparent. From that place, you will begin to see the world differently, not through the lens of your wounds, but through the eyes of grace. You will no longer see others as those who hurt you, but as souls also finding their way back to me. Then you will see every encounter, every circumstance, is an opportunity for my love to flow through you. My child, I do not want my presence to be a fleeting experience, but a way of life. Each morning begin, not with worry, but with awareness. You are here. Whenever you are weary, do not rush for words, simply whisper, I know you are here. When you fail, remember, your presence has not left me. When you rejoice, smile and say, thank you for being with me. If you live this way, no day will be meaningless and no moment will be empty. When my presence becomes the air you breathe, everything else will align in its rightful place. Relationships will heal, your mind will find peace, your calling will become clear, and your heart will rest. You will no longer seek to find God, for you will already be in Him. That is true wholeness, not because everything is perfect, but because you have learned to dwell in the perfect one. My child, I will now tell you the final thing, which is also the first. Everything will be gathered into my light. There will no longer be division between heaven and earth, between the sacred and the ordinary, between you and me. All that was broken, scattered, or lost will be drawn together in the eternal radiance. For that light not only shines outward, it permeates every atom, every thought, every breath of creation. And in that moment, all life will rise in unison and sing glory to the one who makes all things one. You once asked me, How can all things be made new? And I said to you through love. For love is the original energy of the universe, the first heartbeat when I declared, "Let there be light." From that instant, love began to flow like a mighty river through time and space, touching every soul, calling each child home. Nothing can resist this love, for it does not fight by force, it transforms by gentleness. It does not demand, it patiently knocks. It does not conquer, it invites. And when love wins, it does not need its enemies to fall. It draws everything into itself until only love remains. That is what I am doing, my child. Love is gathering what has been scattered. Love is reuniting souls that once lost their way. Love is healing the fractures between people, between humanity and me, and within the hearts of individuals themselves. And you, my beloved, are part of this great restoration. Every time you choose love over judgment, you pull a thread that draws the world closer to heaven. Every time you forgive, you build a bridge between two distant shores. Every word you speak in grace, every act you do in kindness, adds another piece to the eternal tapestry of unity. The world may appear chaotic, but I am arranging it. Like a weaver who looks upon the underside of a tapestry where knots and tangles seem senseless, humanity sees disorder, but I see design. When the time is fulfilled, I will turn the tapestry over, and all will marvel the very sorrows that made them weep were the lines that formed my glory. Every loss, every tear, every waiting, all of it was golden thread weaving light. Eternal unity does not erase differences, it harmonizes them. Just as many rays of light emerge from one source, all creatures, all nations, all souls will rediscover their origin in me. No more voices of division, no more barriers of language or culture, for love will become the common tongue. Humanity will no longer ask which faith is true, for love itself will be the answer. On that day, every tear will be wiped away, every shadow will fade, all that was hidden will be revealed. There will be no more death, no fear, no pain. A new heaven and a new earth will open, not as a distant realm, but as the reality where every soul lives in my light. There will be no need for sun or lamp, for I will be their light, and they will dwell in me forever. Even now that light is approaching. It spreads through hearts that know how to love. It shines through souls that yield to my will. It illuminates the world through those who bear my likeness. Every time you let love triumph, the dawn of a new age begins. Every time you speak of reconciliation, heaven touches earth. Every time you worship with your life, my kingdom is established within you. When you live in this unity, you will no longer see others as them, but as us. You will understand that no one stands outside the circle of my love. You will stop saying God is with me and begin living God is within us. For wherever true love dwells, there I am. No temple of stone is needed, for the human soul is my living sanctuary. No altar of gold is required, for I dwell in the heart that loves. As you walk in this light, you will no longer fear loss, for you will understand that nothing is ever truly lost in me. Everything is merely transformed. Those you love who have gone before remain in me, and because you are in me, you have never been apart. What seems finished is only waiting to be reunited in glory. I am the one who gathers what is scattered, restores what has decayed, and renews the universe with a single breath. When all things are made, every question will fall silent. You will no longer ask, why, but sing thank you. You will no longer wonder, where are you, but proclaim, you are all in all. You will not fear the future, for the future rests in my hands. Then my presence will no longer be something you seek, but something you live. There will be no line between prayer and action, between worship and work, between tears and laughter. All will become sacred. Every breath will become a song. Every moment will become communion. On that day you will see that I am not only the one who loves, but love itself. You will see that you are not merely saved, but immersed in everlasting light. You will realize you were never lost, only forgetful for a time. You will remember your true name, the name I called you in the dawn of creation, when I placed your soul in the stream of light and declared, "It is very good." And when you hear that name again, you will know every journey, every tear, every storm has led you home. Be at peace. I have completed all things. You do not need to fear the road ahead, for it does not lead you away from me. It leads you deeper into me. Keep loving, keep believing, keep walking, for love never ends. When prophecies cease and knowledge fades, love remains. When every language falls, silent love still sings. When time dissolves, love still lives. And you, my child of love, will live forever in that light. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. All things begin in me, and all things will end in me. Not as the close of a story, but as the moment when all creation joins the eternal song. Then every soul will sing together, "You are all in all." And I will smile seeing you, my beloved one, standing in the light unafraid, lacking nothing, overflowing with joy. Keep your heart in this light. Live as one who is already united. Love as if it were both your first and last day. Forgive as if nothing were worth holding back. Walk with your eyes lifted, for my glory is no longer far, it is rising within you. And when the world sees the light in your eyes, they will know God is here. Thank you for listening to today's message. Subscribe and turn on notifications to continue receiving words of life, to build an unshakable faith, and to walk daily in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.